Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Saxe. It is January the 30th, 2022. So let's just take a moment to relax together. Take a few deep breaths and feel yourself releasing the past week. Just letting it go. You might get little images going through your mind, but don't grab onto them, just let them go. And let's just breathe that out. Let it go, let it go. No rules here. We're just here. And thank you, God, for this unwritten page that is today. That right here and right now is all there is, and we feel the good of it. We take nice deep breaths, cleansing breaths, breathe in that breath of life, that gift, that glorious, amazing gift of life. And breathing out again any tension, any stress, any previous anything, until with each cleansing breath it is just that now as you breathe out you feel calm. You breathe in the breath and joy and enthusiasm of life, and you breathe out, and you are in the presence of that living, loving God. And as we choose to be centered, we sing together our centering prayer, Spirit's prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Well, it's going to be hard for me to top that one. Thank you. That's how Dad works, you know. Y'all didn't see any shovels or, you know, nothing at all. He just kind of like goes, let's have it. Boom. And there it is. And today's inspirational moment, How to Let God Help You by Merle Fillmore. The word is consciousness. The solution of your every problem lies with you and the Father. Others cannot tell you what to do. Others cannot keep you from doing that which is best. The mind of God active in your consciousness is your present help. If you turn to God in any way from human reasoning, longing, and fear, he will show you the way that leads to the fulfillment of your good. The really important thing is to lift your consciousness above the things of the material world, above personality and human limitations, and unfold your Christ consciousness. Keep your attention upon universal truth. To do the great works that Jesus promised his followers would do, one must raise his consciousness to the place where he is able to see the perfect image and likeness of God in all people. Like you guys, you know, are just beautiful. By seeing only the Christ in all people, we not only strengthen our spiritual consciousness, but help all whom we contact to realize and express their innate divinity. And our affirmation today, please read with me 3 times. I see the Christ in all people, strengthening my own spiritual consciousness and inspiring others to see the Christ in themselves. I see the Christ in all people, strengthening in my own spiritual consciousness and inspiring others to see the Christ in themselves. I see the Christ in all people, strengthening my own spiritual consciousness and inspiring others to see the Christ in themselves. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Good morning, all. Good morning. Happy to be here. Happy to see you. This song is called Taming My Inner Critic by Drucker. She howls, she bites, she wants to take me down with all of her might. She snarls, she growls, but I am ready to put up a fight. I've been in therapy for 100 years, and there's a peace that I finally found. I've let go of so many fears, and she is not gonna push me around. I'm taming my inner critic. You're not welcome here anymore. I'm taming my inner critic. Allow me to kick you out the door. She kvetches, she complains. Her demands make me feel so insane. Every detail of my life is analyzed and sliced up with her knife. But I am woman, just watch me roar with the force that she can't ignore. Every positive word I say gives me the power to chase her away. I'm taming my inner critic. You're not gonna win at this game. I'm taming my inner critic. If this is how you spend your days, oi, you should feel ashamed. My inner critic. This time I win and you lose. I'm taming my inner critic. You know the truth. You are like so yesterday's news. But then she says, you know, you're really not all that talented or great. You should just play it safe. And I say, I am enough. Then she says, is that another wrinkle? Don't eat that donut. Then I say, I am beautiful. But then she says, you know, really just pull back. Don't even try. I say, I am worthy. Get off, get back. It's now, it's time to claim this life as mine. I'm taming my inner critic. You have no power over me. I'm taming my inner critic. Knowing my worth has finally set me free. So back off.
I think we've had our message for the day. That's perfect. We can all go home. That was perfect, Lainey. Thank you. So if I say to you, don't think about the Statue of Liberty. Don't do it. Don't think about her holding her hand up. Don't think about what that looks like with the torch, and now it's gold, and it used to be, you know, you couldn't, it was, now they cleaned it up, it's all gold. Don't think about that. Don't think about how she holds that book, and when you're looking, you can see the numbers on the, all of our focus is on that, right? Oh, that's all you can see. You can practically feel what it would feel like to touch that statue, because all of our attention is focused on that. And so I'm thinking of how much time we spend worrying and fretting and giving power to and energy and detail, that we're bringing that thing alive when we give it that much of our attention. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, that is one big statue, right? It exists. We have challenges in our world. I'm not saying I'm not saying deny they're there. I'm saying, how do we address it? How do we focus on it? What kind of attention do we decide to give it? Now, when I have a challenge this past week, I found myself, I have a great co-worker. We're little roomies in this little office. And so you can imagine the banter that you have with someone that is so much fun. And I realized that I sounded like I was complaining a lot. And I caught myself and I'd say, I'm not really complaining. I guess I'm just, but what it did is it gave me the realization of where my thoughts were going. And it was like, I'm actually very happy in my job. I feel like I'm making progress. But I think sometimes when we're solving a problem, it's like we're just saying all of the things that have to be fixed. I understand that. You need to address them. But approach and attitude is everything. And so I found myself, one of the comments that was coming out of my mouth through the week, and this is how I caught myself, is I kept saying, I don't understand why we do it like that. Why are they doing it like that? I don't understand. I don't get it. And I found that saying, I don't understand and I don't get it repeatedly, I got in a cycle of getting more confused about the setup. And so instead, when I caught myself, I said, okay, yes, I think there's a better way we can do this. I think this is not as simple as it could be. And by just making the statement that way, suddenly I'm opening up my mind to receiving solutions. I'm not sitting in that space of saying, this stinks, because we dig our heels in. And we are rooted, and there's no moving forward from, I don't like how this works. You know, unless you are willing to open to an answer. So that means you have to believe that an answer is possible. I think that's where faith comes in. I don't think it's this blind, okay, something's going to drop in and save me from this. I think it means we open to the answers and the solutions. I have a habit. I'd love to work logic problems. And it's an odd thing that I do before bed. You wouldn't think that would be relaxing, but I think it kind of makes a lot of the day's thoughts calm down as I focus on this little puzzle. And I like doing the word ones where there's a story and then you have to figure out which person did which thing. Have any of you ever done these logic puzzles? They're kind of fun. And so I love doing the easy ones, and I'm getting through the book, and then I look at the book and I'm like, well, I guess I've done all the easy ones, and I skipped over that one because that one looked kind of hard, you know. And then I thought, well, let me just try this one. And I started to do it, and I went, that's too hard. I'm going to put that aside. And I tried something else, and I went, I guess I only have the hard ones left. So, and then the thought dropped in for me. This is solvable. This is solvable. What a powerful thought in our day-to-day life. This is solvable. And I approached that with a completely different outlook. When I went, it doesn't matter how long I take. The perspective with this is, I'm doing this for fun. Nobody's looking over my shoulder. Nobody's timing me. I'm not timing me. I'm not judging me. I'm doing this for fun. So can I just say, I know this is solvable. Let me see what that does to my mind and the way I look at this. And I realized that what happened next was my brain just took it one little step at a time. When there was no stress, no self-imposed stress, that inner voice, the inner critic saying, you're not smart enough to do that one. You know, you've done the ones you could do. You better get another book, honey. You know, instead of the inner critic, I was just like, this is solvable. Let me see what I can do with this. And I wasn't making demands on myself, and I wasn't insisting that I finish it. I just wanted to see what I could do with it, especially from the angle of this is solvable. And I found it took several nights. I might spend 10 minutes on it, set it aside. The next night I'd pick it up again and spend another few minutes on it. And I got there, and I got it. And there was such a feeling of satisfaction over doing something that I previously didn't think I could do. And I loved it. And another thing I would use that for an analogy is that one I was doing the other day that had lots of work, and they deliberately, like, you have to pay attention to the way it's worded and take each thing as you can. And there might be 20 clues in that introduction, but they've only got it broken up into maybe 4 paragraphs. So you have to kind of sift through, you know. And this one was giving me particular trouble. And I went back and I said, okay. And I took each one and put little check marks next to each thing to say, I already have accounted for that. And I've already accounted for that. When I was done doing that process, I was down to 3 things that I really hadn't played out yet. And so my point being, the rest was now noise, and I could put it aside. It really didn't, it had served its purpose. And then it just click, 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 went right into place, and I solved the problem. So my point is that sometimes there's so much going on that we forget what we need to pay attention to and what doesn't really matter anymore. And then there's the other level of what is actually damaging our attitude, that inner critic that's so perfect. You know, that voice is there. So there's the consciousness that is the true self, that knows this is possible and knows we are worthy and knows we can do it and knows this is solvable. Then there's this other part of us that just hears all the noise and gets confused by the input and what do I pay attention to. And then the other level is the one that is the critic nipping at our heels and trying to, which undermines everything, because then you're back to the attitude of this isn't solvable, or I'm not enough to do this, whatever this thing is in our world. But what if we stepped into anything saying this is possible? Because isn't that what we get when we align with God? This is possible. I can do this. And it may not feel like it in the moment. And I'm not saying ignore it. If I have a headache, this was one of the interesting adjustments that I needed to make, because I was raised in metaphysics, but my very earliest, my family, as they were wrapping their minds around everything, was first connecting with some of the very old school New Thought. And so it was the positive affirmation that is complete denial, basically. You know, it has evolved. They understand more than they used to. But there was one of the affirmations they constantly had us do if we were in pain was, there is no truth in pain and no pain in truth. Well, I did that as a child, but what happened was, I still had a headache, right? And so I'm saying there's no truth in pain, there's no pain in truth, and the stress of feeling like I must not be doing it right because I still hurt, right? So what we're saying when we say positive, I love affirmations, but I believe you need to look something head on, and you're not going to paint the picture like I did in the beginning. Were you just now thinking of the Statue of Liberty? Not until I brought it back up again, right? So it's about replacing your thoughts, isn't it? I love that point. But anyway, so back to that though, if you take the time to paint a picture, you know, of every little detail, and you're dwelling in it and you're soaking it up and you're making it so real. It's like treasuring the pain and embracing the pain. I believe, it took me a long time to understand grieving and how to grieve in a healthy way. I hope I don't have to use that a lot in my life, but it comes up, right? But I think it's not to deny that there is pain. It's to say, and this is temporary. I'm feeling this right now for a reason. I am open to solutions. How do I resolve this pain? I can't tell you how many times as a young person, say 20s and 30s, I might have a stomach ache or a headache. I never even went and got the aspirin or the thing for my stomach. What? You have to go, okay, and how do I solve this? How do I move forward from here? You know, and so you can't just stay stuck in the issue itself, but we experience what we dwell upon. So I can stay there and paint the biggest picture of how tragic this thing is that I'm in and make it, man, I can embrace that. And it becomes more and more concrete. The more power that I give it. Or I can say this, and sometimes I think, especially in grief, you need to give it its due. You need to acknowledge it, look it in its face. Maybe you do need to color it out to get it out, you know? Maybe you need to color it in, to get it out. Whatever your process is, one of the biggest pieces of advice I got was there's no wrong way to grieve. There really isn't. And everyone's different and every instance is different. I really do get that. But I think that we are asking ourselves to do a superhuman feat to say there is no pain. That's not possible. So then you fail and then you judge yourself because you weren't able to overcome. Somehow you were supposed to not be able. Well, yes, thank God we have a vision of a creator that has instilled within us this power to move on, this power to know that in truth, no matter what we're experiencing, there is wholeness. So yes, this hurts like hell, but this is an illusion that I have to stay here. It's an illusion that there's some part of me missing now. It may feel that way. You know, if a child comes to you and they fell down, you know, you don't go, suck it up, buttercup. Maybe you do, I don't know. But I think a healthier way would be to say, yes, I know, hon, that does hurt. Let's put some ice on that. Or let's, you know, how you feeling? Can you move it? Okay, do you want to go play? You know, like just encourage the movement forward. But I think there has to be an acknowledgement, and there has to be an offering of comfort. There has to be an offering of solutions. And so when I approach prayer now and God, over the last maybe 20 years or so, it's been a very different journey for me, because it feels, and my immediacy to God is so much greater, because God never changed location. I just changed my experience, right? And so instead of it being so far removed and me so unworthy to touch this divine being in the, you know, some nether regions beyond my imagination, I can say thank you, and I can say, hey, God, just like you do with the dad business. I love that. To be able to say, this is what I'm feeling right now, and I'm feeling rather overwhelmed. But I know that you are in full support with all of the unlimited resources on my behalf. I know that is available to me right here and right now. So I open to that, and I affirm, I breathe that in. I tell my body, this is the truth. You don't need to stress, because we're working on this. So I'm going to ask you to release, body. I'm going to ask you to release fear and stress, and I'm going to ask you to embrace that the truth of your being is that we, connected to God, we are unlimited. We have solutions, and we move forward with ideas. Exciting and creative ideas are available to me right now. And there are the times you need to just sit down and relax and chill out. Mom and I used to call it the mental pizza. You know, where you have to go watch a TV show that has nothing to do with anything that's going to inspire you. And then the shift, you know how after you come out of a movie, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, right, we're on Saturday night. And because you've had such an experience that you've kind of set aside your present. And sometimes you need to do that. It depends on how big a shift you need, or if you just, that's a self-care thing. But start learning what works for you. You know, start giving yourself that gift. And so I love positive affirmation, but I say, speak the truth of what you are feeling, and that's the small t. Speak the truth of where you are feeling. And then speak the capital T of what you know to be true. And it can be simple, if you love words like I do, you may spend some time on that, but it's not about the words, it's about the feeling. So if you can dwell in that, the truth is, I swim in a sea of solutions. It is in and through me. And I may be going, what is the answer? And God is saying, here's 1,000. How do you want to do this? So if I can open up, all I have to be aware enough is to catch one of them. Let one of them catch my eye. I have to have my eyes open to do that. And so I really believe it's all about focus. It's about what are we choosing to spend our time on. I was reading a really interesting article, because one of the things I've really noticed more than ever, I knew it about myself, but I've noticed more than ever lately, is how much of a creature of habit I am, and I'm not alone. That's just our thing, right? But one of the articles I read that really fascinated me was about, because I've done this approach, but it was sort of reinforcing that this would work for me, was that the more that you set in habit, the more that is just something you don't have to waste your energy on to think through, and that decision making tends to stress us out. And we waste time on it. We think about, have to think it through. Am I making the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? Is this the right time of the day for me to do this? Whatever it may be. So the more that we can make habit, the more comfort we feel. And it frees up our mind to pay attention to the things that do need decisioning in that moment. They say that was something that Barack Obama very much used, was the fact that he knew the power of habit. And so he had certain suits, or he had other people handle what he was going to eat. He said, if it doesn't matter that much, I'll make the decision once, and then that's out of the way, and I can pay attention to the things I want to pay attention to. Now, I also think we have to remember to empower ourselves to revisit our decisions, because being a creature of habit, sometimes I dig my heels in on something just because that's how I've always done it. And so it became the right way in my mind. And I think, we have to re-examine once in a while and make sure that still works for us. And maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. But to be willing to upgrade our thinking about something, And I used to be one that often was afraid when I was like in my 20s, afraid to move, because I thought, whatever, if I commit to that way, it's written in stone now, and that is the way, and what if I'm wrong? Well, we have to give ourselves the freedom of adjustment. But I think focus, and this goes very much back to what Kim so eloquently said last week about practice. Because that's what ingrains it in the muscle memory and so forth, is the habit. It's that habit. What if my habit is to think the best thought of someone first? What if my habit is to say, this is a fun place. How can I make it better to work or whatever? Instead of what isn't working here. Oh yeah, and aren't coworkers awesome about that, right? We feed on each other. Oh, did you know? Da da da. Why are they doing it like that? Can't we have more coffee from the coffee room? Well, yeah, and they left out blah, 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 blah. And you feed on each other, right? But couldn't you do the other way? Couldn't you say, you know what? I was thinking that new guy that's here, they're doing such and such differently, and maybe he really hasn't had a chance to connect with everybody as well. So why don't we make it a practice that the new people, when they come in, we do blah, blah, blah. Do you see what I mean? And that can be what excites people. That can be what ignites people. And of course, that positive energy is going to be so much more, not only pleasant, but you're going to get where you want to get so much easier and better. It's about what we experience. And I understand, I think, because I really, really do believe I'm a positive person, but I catch myself when I start complaining. And I do think it's because I want to solve something, but I have to make sure I'm not just stating a problem I noticed. I have to take it the next step. Because just stating the problem is sort of like digging in your heels and there's this full stop. If I don't say, and what am I going to do about this? And like Kim was pointing out so eloquently last week, it's on us, right? What am I going to do about this? And you invite in assistance and so forth, and you can get other people to help you. I don't mean that. But I'm just saying, if it's in there and it's rubbing you wrong, what am I going to do about this, right? So I just love that thought. I love the feeling of just setting into a belief system that we are not stuck wherever we are. There's this part of us that can get so stubborn. Have you noticed that? Are any of you stubborn? Have any of you experienced that in your life at all? Seen anyone that was stubborn? Seen that cross your path? Okay, so what hit me one day when I was talking to someone is, I have this little girl in me that can stamp her foot, and all this, and I went, oh, you know what? If I can just make my willpower as good as my won't power, I am going to be on track, But think about that, what we were talking about. If your won't power is a stop. It's the I'm not moving forward. Have you ever seen a toddler in the grocery store that doesn't want to move? They will lay down. That is it. They're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And so there's a part of us where if we say, if we're so busy fighting that thing, that Statue of Liberty that we are not going to think about, then all of our energy goes to resistance, right? Instead of saying, okay, deep breath there, what do I really want to have happen here? Sometimes we get so invested in that thing that we're not going to do that we forget what the point was. We forget what we're really trying to get. In acting, we used to look at each moment that, and break it down and say, your character, even if your character was not aware, you had to be aware. What does my character want in this moment? And how do they go about trying to get it? And that's how you dig in and do a character analysis. And so I'm looking at that and going, that's very metaphysical. If we could be self-aware enough to say, what am I really trying? What do I really want here, above all? And if I want peace more than I want to be right, then I'm going to be more flexible with how I communicate with that person who's upset with me. If I can just remember that what I really want is peace. What I really want is friendship. What I really want is connection. More than I need to be right. And you can have your own little talk inside yourself and say, yeah, but I'm right, if you need to. But I think when you feel that interchange calm down and the peace calm, that's where the satisfaction is. And that old habit of having to even say that, the inner talk of being right or wrong, can fall away. And again, I think it's about the wheat from the chaff, as they say in the Bible, being aware what really is important for me to pay attention to here, and what is just noise cluttering my thoughts. How do I get clarity? How do I just pare it down and get it simple? How do I just get mellow here and get clear, get clarity, get peace? And for me, that level of peace mellows and heals and comforts, and then rushes in the joy, because there's such gratitude that we have that personal ability to tap into that, and that we have the ability to self-direct and move forward. That is astounding to me. How great is our Creator? How great is this system, right? And I know there's many things we understand or feel we understand, but how cool will it be to know more and to know more and to understand more at whatever level, before or after this life, however that works. Some of it we think we know, some of it we'll find out as we go along. But how incredible. The evidence is overwhelming that this is a benevolent Creator. The life, when you even see life cycles, of how things grow and then fall away. Even that which seems to fall away is nurturing the rebirth. We know this, right? So allowing ourselves to be self-aware. What is it we want? What do we really want? And what do we do to get there? But moving forward, and I don't care if it's one step at a time, 5 minutes on a puzzle a night, right? Or some nights I get excited and I want to do it for 30 minutes. So it's truly just giving ourselves permission to go at a pace that your joy dictates, that urge within you to move forward. We have an innate desire to grow. We don't want to be stagnant. We're nomadic, really, in nature. And so, but that's become a more spiritual thing, where the journey is more an inner journey. We're not moving around from place to place, you know, depending on the wildlife and the seasons, like we did our four, you know. But where is that inside? Where is the joy? Can we give ourselves permission to not dig in and follow our curiosity, follow our bliss, follow our joy, let ourselves be inspired, and the rest, the noise can fall away. So we dwell on that which blesses, and that becomes our affirmation. Lord, help me see. Help me see. And then I always, when I hear myself say that, I have to remind myself to say, no, I'm asking that inner self. And this affirmation came to me this morning that made me cry. And it was that I said, highest self within, I invite you to step forward and show yourself. I invite you to show me your allness. Show me my allness. And I get chills all over my body because, wow, what can we really do? We don't even know. Tip of the iceberg we've done. And yet, everyone in this room would have a story about how much their life has improved since they got on a path, a truth path, whatever you call it, a journey that has blessed you. You all have a story of how much your life has improved. And just to think, we're just the tip of the iceberg of how good it really is. That's exciting to me. To think the unlimited is available to us. Wow. Truly, to let yourself feel that. The biggest joy, the biggest laughter you've had, the greatest camaraderie you've felt, the deepest peace you have felt is only an inkling of what the divine is trying to pour into you. I want to hone that skill. I want to hone my acceptance. I want to hone to tame the inner critic. And I love that the little voice would say this, and then she'd say, no, I'm worthy. Say, I'm worthy. And to get to the point where that's the only voice, I'm worthy. And I am unlimited. Wow. What happens next? What happens next? I can't wait to find out. So let's take that into meditation. Mother, Father, God, inner and outer, all that is love, all that is peace, all that is possibility, we are open to being shown who we really are, not based on our past history, not based on any direction we think we're headed, but just, we feel a centering. We feel a rooting, a strengthening, our foundation built on the knowledge that we are a part of the all, unlimited all. And we ask of ourselves and those that would inspire us to show us, give us the glimpse. What is the next step of unfolding my allness? How do I show up and show myself what I really am? And body, I ask of you to show me what I need to do to bless you. And I listen to you. I listen and I make adjustments. We listen and we make adjustments. There is constructive criticism going on. We listen and we adjust. So mind, what do you need? What do you need from me to feel calm and secure? Emotions. How do I let you know you're safe? How do I infuse you with enthusiasm? Belief in yourself. Gut, how do I tell you you are safe and that your reactions can be one of joy? highest self. Show me how to integrate all parts of my being, that they work in harmony, not divided, not keeping secrets from each other, but working in harmony. That I listen. I am so attuned to this body and this presence that I am in this time. That I know how to move in the world, and I know how to connect with other people. I know how to bless. I know what blesses me. I know how to be healthy. I know how to be strong. I know how to move through difficulty. It is all right here. We breathe in that presence of God. God the good, omnipotent, of which we are. We belong to that. It is only in our illusion that we cannot be that. So we see the truth. We choose to act from truth. Capital T. I am. You are. We are perfect. Created perfect, learning to express perfection. It's only in the expression that we falter. And that's just part of learning it. We practice it, as Kim said, till it is second nature and first nature. We are it. And now we look in our mind's eye. Let's just segue this right into our prayers for other people. You can call out names at this time because we're going to hold them in this same energy of seeing their perfection and their connection. So feel free to call out names at this time. The Penn family, Sky, TJ, Maddie, so we hold them in that energy, and all these ones we've spoken, anyone else you're holding in your heart, anyone online you need prayers, you're thinking of someone, we're holding you in spirit. We swim in a sea of solutions. There is an answer. There is a resolution. In fact, it's guaranteed. We just have to take it one step at a time, and we're asking to be shown what our part in this is. So Mother, Father, God, thank you, thank you, thank you for our heart, mind, spirit, the perfection of this moment. And we go forth fully equipped, curious, joyful, and understanding. And we let it be so. And I think we have an offertory.
If you will join me with the celebration of giving. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is.
Thank you. That was awesome. This is called Let Me Fall, from Cirque Du Soleil, originally sung by Josh Groban. Someone I am is waiting for courage. The one I want, the one I will become will catch me. So let me fall if I must fall. I won't heed your warnings. I won't hear them. Let me fall. If I fall, though the phoenix may or may not rise, I will dance so freely, holding on to no one. You can hold me only if you too will fall away from all these useless fears and chains. Someone I am is waiting for my courage. The one I want, the one I will become will catch me. So let me fall if I must fall. I won't heed your warnings. I won't heed. Let me fall. If I fall, there's no reason to miss this one chance, this precious moment. Just let me fall.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for your talent, for sharing it so beautifully. So in this moment, let's bless the offering. Think of all the gifts that come into this center, be it financial, be it these smiles, being these hands that do so much around here, the presence, the creation, all that happens here. Thank you, God. We appreciate your presence with us, those of you online. You're every bit in our thoughts all the time as part of this community. Thank you.
So we just have a couple of announcements. Our 501c3 was approved, and unfortunately I announced it a little bit too soon, but now we've been put on the, whatever the list is, so now you can go in and look for us. But right now, Amazon Smile, we know for sure we can go in and sign up on Amazon Smile, and then they will make a donation to the Unity Center every time that you purchase something. So those of you that purchase a little is great. Those of you that purchase a lot, like my children and my wife, wonderful. So, that's right. No donation is too small. And then the other thing is on February the 20th, we're going to have a congregational meeting. We're going over the new bylaws. We have the board has completely gone in, thanks to Jan and Kim, and revamped the entire bylaws so that we wanted everybody to have a chance to look at them. If you haven't gotten a copy via email, if you'll contact Kim at the church, at the email of the church, then she will send you a copy, because we'd like everybody to have a chance to review them before we have that meeting. So we can have an intelligent discussion about, which is unusual for us sometimes, but so we can have an intelligent discussion about what is good or needs to change in the bylaws. But we're real proud of it was a task. So now we have a set of bylaws that we think are updated and that we can work with. So now we want to go over our vision and mission statement. Okay, and everybody repeat after me. We are a Unity Spiritual Center Saxony. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teaching and the demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us.
And so as you go through this week, I invite you to actually write down, even if it's one affirmation that speaks to you. We can write our own best affirmations. So if you are feeling a lack of health, don't say just I am healthy, but I see that health is possible. Complete and total healing is in and around me and through me. So there's an affirmation that you can connect with from wherever you are. And may you have a wonderful, wonderful week full of curiosity and discovery and joy. Namaste.